Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
So, for those who want a little bit of a break from the crazy drama that is the show, we have been...
The show's very, very just boring lately.
Right? We have been putting out these fun little episodes. Today's not that long of one, but it's a follow-up to one we did recently on Inside the Art Department. So, this is our part 2 of
I love these. These are neat. It's neat to see the behind the scenes of the show and how things are going.
I agree. I think it's really cool. It's interesting to see, when they make like the throne room at Dragonmount. That was really cool.
Right.
I thought that was a neat set, and so anyway, we're gonna hopefully see more goodies like that today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch. In 3, 2, 1. We've had a couple really cool ones, these.
Mm-hmm. No, that was neat. It was in the tree, the map in the tree.
Walking into Winterfell for the first time, seeing this extraordinary exterior set, I feel a little bit like a neophyte because I just assumed Winterfell was a real castle, And so I walk into this set and it's just extraordinary. I know from the pilot it was a real castle, and I guess I just kind of assumed that part of it was still shot. And now they built this thing, and they made it bigger this year.
This is Winterfell Gate. That's the front entrance to Winterfell. As you can see, there's quite a bit of damage that has occurred over the past winter. These sets were not designed initially to last 7 seasons. It's all plaster work and timber at the end of the day that we construct sets of. They're not real. And as a result, there's always maintenance to be had. Out here is mainly paintwork, but when you go inside, you'll see this.
So whoever's land that is on, they have set 7 seasons.
Last season, woodworm breaking through the gate. These are kind of the remnants of that action. We've put the original panels back because we want to show that they're preparing for the coming winter and for coming battles. This is obviously completely bare. There are no props in here. The greens will have to come. They will have to take a lot of the greenery out. We'll need to relay the floor a little bit. This is all weather. The floor is suddenly kind of quite uneven. It's just rain damage. So now we're in the second courtyard.
Really cool.
Again, quite a bit of damage. The steps have all collapsed. It's not that bad, actually. It's still in very, very good condition. The guys just need to replace a few of the boards.
It's really interesting. But I always assumed it was a real place too, like some of the castles that they found it somewhere.
In addition to the original courtyard from season 1, we built a second courtyard for last season, to which we have added a third courtyard this season.
Yeah,
this is Jon Snow's room, which used to be Ramsay's room. We've kind of rebuilt this slightly. There's a window here now. We've changed things around. We've changed the fireplace just to kind of do this a little bit differently. As you kind of find your way through, you'll find your way into Sansa's room, and from there, kind of all the other rooms as well. So this is Sansa's room here. Everywhere still some construction to be done. The fireplace is still being built.
It's really interesting. They just
can probably
build a couple rooms at a time. Oh, we shot this season. Decided to add a couple more rooms.
This down, aging this.
What's that?
Maester Welkin built it for me, so I can move around more easily.
It's a very good idea.
I have designed a lot of stuff for Bran Stark. He doesn't know it, but I'm his personal transport designer.
There was a lot of opinions on how it should look and how it should feel, and the concept artist went through numerous designs before that was actually approved for us to then make.
Now he's the three-eyed raven. He has quite an austere character, so you had to not design any decoration on it, and it had to be the Winterfell colours, quite pared down, and then using the wood and the leather, keeping it really simple, so it reflected his character.
One of the great things about having a show that's gone on for many years for all the departments, there's a degree of accretion where you just keep adding layer and layer and layer, and things become more rich and complicated.
The level of detail.
That all adds to the realism of the world.
They have done such an extraordinary job. All of these sets are bigger than you can imagine and more detailed than you can really even experience.
All the little things we don't even ever see on camera.
Man, I still wish they would have left this stuff up. I would love to go take a tour of these places around the world or something.
I'm sure they're still there, rotting away.
No, I'm sure they'd
Silence
packed
was
them
one
up.
of the early sets, and it had
The
to be one of
the
the wow
places they
sets,
built,
which
at
it
least.
was.
Oh,
We had to
yeah, they
create
didn't
that
pack
really
them up, they
actually
just
in
tore
about
them
7
down.
weeks.
Yeah.
But
Because we didn't have a lot of time, everything just had to go perfect on that.
We're in Banbridge doing the boats for the sea battle. Yara's ship and Euron's boat, the Silence.
Halka Richter was the art director.
Yeah,
of
this is a
that
big thing,
set,
though. It's like,
and
this
he
is
was
the
working with,
where the
concept
ship
artist
battle
named Philip
happens in a
Shearer.
parking lot.
in that parking lot of a
My least
Ralph's.
favorite set at the same time. It was quite obvious that everyone's vision was very, very different. Someone imagined the ship to be like Chinese influenced, but these are also ironborn. So some of us were looking more like in a Viking direction. To bring all of this together was like the big challenge.
Through research, we started to look at Roman sort of biremes, triremes. We were looking at medieval ships.
The boat's an amalgam of a lot of different great warcraft that were built over the different centuries, so it's not quite like any one in particular, but it's a lot of different ones mushed together.
As we planned the battle out, we realized the boat itself doesn't really come into play as a real thing that people need to interact with until it's connected to Yara's ship. So we decided that the best way to put across the true size of this boat and still make it possible and functional was to build a section of it, the bow section that rams into Yara's boat.
The art department
saw that
designed
bit.
and built the first 50 feet
That's
of the
interesting.
Silence with the idea that visual effects would then extend that.
The great thing was, because Philip had worked in 3D on the computer when he was designing it, it meant that these ribs could then be farmed out and cut and perfectly delivered so that the boat would go together like it was out of a kit.
When the thing is then assembled, you get the skeletal structure of the ship, and then we just start to clad it. So it was very much a carpentry-heavy set. We have marine guys who will come over and help us on these things. All the rigging came through them. They'll splice the ropes, they'll hang the ropes, put the sails up, do whatever they can to get this car park ship ready for battle.
I work out the drawing to scale everything down to make the sail the shape it is. Then we ordered the fabric, which is now is a black acrylic canvas because it's got to be strong. There's also the special effects sail, then that's put up on the ship as well, so they can work out all the details in special effects.
It was a device that the Romans used to enter an enemy ship. So they would lower the corvus, which had a spike that looked a little bit like the beak of a raven. That's why it was called corvus. Corvus is Latin for raven. It would literally sink itself into the deck of the enemy ship.
And the guys come streaming down and then run onto the ships to murder everybody.
We were such a great, humongous, mean-looking thing. So it
And like, doesn't matter if that damages the ship heavily.
Who
cares?
Oh, Euron is so crazy.
Warship.
Yeah, he'll
It
get
doesn't
his in this
transport
next
people.
episode.
It transports death and destruction.
He'll get it.
Loot train.
The loot train is our biggest scene this year by far.
The loot train involves a lot of different departments, all sort of working at the very extremes of their abilities.
We're in a park called Los Barracas, which is a natural park here in Extremadura region of Spain. What drew us
There
here
are so many
originally
amazing
was the strange
places.
rock formations, which
this
quite
is
unusual.
gotta be such an amazing experience.
Probably
Like,
the last location we found.
you
because
get hired for
at the
this
end
show
of our
and you
2 weeks
travel the
tour,
world for
at the end of
years.
6,000 kilometers in a van. We finally found it.
What we were looking for location-wise was just basically the biggest field we could find. It had to have some water on it because there's the river comes into play. But really we just needed a massive field because we're gonna have the Dothraki galloping in. We've got a massive Lannister wagon train. We've got the dragon flying. You need a ton of space.
When I first read the outline, I did think it'll be exciting to be doing a battle, but there'll
one of the
obviously be nothing for the art
B-52s was
department to do
involved.
because we have an amazing location and we'll put some wagons in and we'll set fire to them. And how wrong I was.
It's a love
We
shack,
initially
baby.
received concepts of about 5 medieval-style armored vehicles in horse and cart form. Then we hired 5 carts from England.
I mean,
we then
my
had to sort of
God. I mean, I guess it's like a movie, right? You have to just basically treat it like a movie. It's just so insane.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in Spain then did the actual set
Oh, yeah.
dressing that
And
was
you have-
associated with
I mean,
them.
geez.
One
How much
cart in
were
particular,
they
which
spending on
was
every single episode at this point?
Eurocart. We had to
Hundreds and
work
hundreds
very
of
closely
thousands
with the
of
director of
dollars, I mean.
photography along with the set decorator, as this cart needed to be lengthened so that certain camera angles could be
Oh my God.
established.
It started off
Everything has
a
to fit
big
so
loop
well.
train and everything was intact, and then the dragon comes along and blows it all to smithereens. There's different stages throughout the 3 weeks that we're shooting, so we have a whole team of dressers that come and do the changes.
As this set's sort of gone further and further into the battle, and you know, dragons have been and fires happen, and now what we're doing is we're making it look very charred and burnt, and lots of sort of crispy critters hiding everywhere.
There's a lot of continuity to make sure that we're in the right space, in the right part of the process, reflecting the right amount of burn, the right amount of damage. How you keep that going takes an awful lot of effort.
This is going to be crazy. It's a big battle. There's lots going on. We've got crew doing lots of different things here. There's hundreds of extras and horses and fire. I knew it was going to be crazy and fun.
Busy day on set.
Yeah. Ooh, the frozen lake. This is a cool set.
Yeah, it is.
The frozen lake sequence is so ambitious that I don't think any of us really understood what we were getting ourselves into. Bernie Caulfield and Chris Newman pushed to have it in this
That is
quarry,
amazing.
which
It's
is
so
half an hour
big.
outside of Belfast. It's called Wolf Hill Quarry.
Wolf Hill Quarry can be a very unforgiving environment, weather-wise, a lot more brutal, especially in November, December, than the places
I mean,
we shot in Iceland.
It's
Look,
worth
it should
to
be.
get those characters
That place
out
should.
there where it really is freezing cold. What you'll see on camera is exactly what it is. It will be a very raw, cold, freezing environment where these characters are utterly exposed to the elements.
We looked at the
Makes it
location
appropriate.
and then it was like figuring out
Right.
how you can create a frozen lake.
Like, how do we keep them
worked
warm?
with some engineering
Right.
contractors. These guys came
You don't want
in
them to
with
just-
machinery. We've done a lot of quarry
Like-
work, and I know that one
No,
man
get-
with some of those
make
big
it cold.
machines can shift an awful lot of earth in a day.
Turn the AC
It has to
on.
have a flat surface. Ice forms in flat pools. It doesn't have a hill.
I mean,
so we had to concrete it.
obviously
so it was
they're
a hard
actors, but, you know,
surface,
it's-
so no mud could leach into the fake
It
snow.
adds a cool level of
In the end, we
authenticity,
put
I
down
think.
11,000 square meters in
Look
area
at that,
of
though.
concrete, which is nearly 3 acres, to create
God.
that vast area.
3 acres of concrete.
Frozen lake.
When you stand up on the top and look down, it was like
Just
you were
that
building
alone
an airport
was
or
probably
something. It looked
100 grand.
amazing, and I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
the people up in the International Space Station must
So-
have been thinking, "What on earth are they doing there?" Like, it was, the scale of it is enormous. We built the island in the middle like we would build a set.
The island was built out of mixture of real rock and then plaster work to actually get the shape correct.
The island in the middle had to be very specific to contain the action. So we had the area where Tormund is, where the Hound is, where Jon Snow is. You know, those areas all had to be kind of worked out.
Where we need a place for Jon Snow to fall down, so we need a little step in the rock structure.
And the same really for the Night King area. Deb wanted it to have a real dynamic to it, so we used our own plaster, fiberglass sheeted rocks, but they were done in such a way to give the thing a drive. It's moving forward, this thing. It feels present.
When I came to set for the first time and saw this lake, I understood it was concrete and that they had actually made it, that blew my mind.
That island they built in the middle of the lake, it looks like a real island, you know, and the way they've made the lake look iced over. Yeah, it's incredible.
And then, of course, you know, you can't talk about that set without acknowledging the snow team. They've been there
Oh, seriously.
for an inordinate
The
amount
snow
of time.
team.
just
The snow
snowing
team, a whole
piece
team.
by piece by piece, so that what you end up with is very nearly a 360-degree set.
We try to shoot in quarries whenever possible because they're just massive open spaces that we can turn into our playgrounds for whatever we need.
We built some walls to take us from Iceland into this lake to sort of make believe that we were in the same environment.
When you
I
film
love it. We
something
try to shoot in
another
quarries
location,
whenever
and then you're
possible
responsible for
because they're so
finishing
massive.
that location off
It's
somewhere
really smart.
else. You know, you have to really do your homework and try and make sure that you match it as best you can. And so all I can hope now is that the conditions that they have in Iceland when they shoot the first part match the conditions that we had when we shot in the quarry.
For the frozen lake, we initially received a concept where numerous White Walkers were pulling a huge dragon out of the lake. This was going to be a very visual effect heavy scene, but still we knew that, you know, the actors required to appear to be pulling something heavy.
Yeah.
We created like quite a large chain. It was all about figuring out the size
Chain.
of the
I love it. She said chain that way.
and how we'd get enough.
Oh my God, I didn't even know what she said. I was just like, what?
Manufacture almost 400 feet of chain, which I think was about 1,000 links in total.
And then they were all painted with like a rust finish.
Rust.
And they'll actually get snow on the day up there.
Oh my gosh, I love her accent.
This is an hour of television. I started in September. I won't be done till February. That's nuts. Game of Thrones.
When I go up there now and I see them
September to
filming,
February.
it's like, wow, did
For
we
an
really
episode.
do that? You know, I still sometimes have to pinch myself.
Crazy.
Let's go for it. Here we go. We're rolling. Set. We're set. And action.
We have a fantastical storyline which requires us to suspend our disbelief. And what the art department does in these sets is it makes it real.
The art department is this show.
Yeah.
It's just such a major factor in
I love that he's
why
giving
this
credit
show's
like that.
work.
Nothing happens here without us taking the time to discuss it and to really think about it. I hope the audience understand and enjoy that because it's something that we take great pride in.
That's why we do win Emmys, because we obsess over a scroll that's in the back of shot and is totally out of focus.
Pretty much everything that you see on set is created by the art department.
It's great to see your work being appreciated, but I would say conversely that a lot of our work is invisible and it should be invisible.
If I was the 5-year-old version of me and I found out what I'd be going to be doing, I'd be like, over the moon. This is cool. It's like playing.
You're right. I'm on one of the most popular shows of all time.
Right?
The sets are so authentic
Oh,
that
we
you
watch.
feel yourself step into another world.
When you walk on a set that you've concepted, it's a very surreal, exciting experience.
I actually can't believe I have the job I have. It's fantastic.
Well, they're just
And the
surreal,
accent you
everything,
have.
everything from
I
the
know.
weapons to
I
the
love
dressing
it.
of the set. It's absolutely nuts. If I wasn't an
Oh,
actor, I'd
Josh.
work in the art department.
It'll all be
Working in the art
okay.
department is like an extreme sport. It's a very intense environment.
I think you should talk
where
like
a lot
that.
of things are happening.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the whole
I don't know
last
how Dept
two
sleeps
couple
because
episodes
she
here.
had so much work to do this season and she had so much work for the final season that it's kind of incredible. She's still cheerful when you see her.
Oh man.
The crazy job. My lord.
Those are interesting. Those are interesting.
I love watching those.
The
because-
frozen lake is cool. That's
Yeah, and building the all of those castles in those areas is.
oh
really
my
cool.
gosh. Adding like now we're just gonna build 2 rooms of Winterfell
Yeah,
and
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
some
shoot
rooms
this
on.
season and then we'll build a couple more next season and now it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Very interesting stuff. Thank you all for joining us as we
You
get to
all.
look a little bit behind the curtain here. And we'll see you guys in season 8. What?
Wow, wow, wow.
As always, I'm Josh Dawes.
I'm Josh Driscoll.
And we're the Wester Bros. Thanks for joining us for this special feature.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Holy smokes! That was crazy. Thanks for watching with us today, guys. That was absolutely insane.
That was pretty freaking crazy.
I hope you liked it. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel, stay notified, click that little bell,
And support us on Patreon.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you there.